Hi folks, I'm Eric. I'm a Sony FutureLab program concept end device user, and I've been wearing the concept end device on a regular basis for a couple of months now. Last time I made a video, it was taking it out of this box right here, but I've been using it for a period of a couple of months since December, and have both provided feedback to the developer team and gone to a couple of meetups with other end users. And I wanted to give a brief demo on some of the features using the device and also some of the companion app features that are available on Android and iOS. Um, so first of all, I'm just going to welcome everyone and say, listen up, Nigel. Tell me a little bit about the weather.
Weather update.
The weather in Pacifica tomorrow will be showers in the daytime, mostly cloudy with showers in the evening. The temperature will be 60 degrees in the highs and 49 degrees in the lows. The chance of rain is 63% in the daytime.
Now it's pulling that information from a weather application, but I can also control that using the FutureLab Program N application on my smartphone. So the application itself is available on both Android and iOS, and you can trigger what segments are available through your end device, and also the frequency and some of the information that's provided in those segments you can customize through the application. So I wanted to walk through the application. First of all, it is available on Google Play as well as the App Store for iOS devices. Each time there is a change to the application, of course, there's a What's New section. If you click Read More, it tells you a little bit more about the concept end device. And there's also right here on the application page, before you install anything, screenshots that show you a bit about how to use the application. A lot of people overlook those things, so I just wanted to kind of point that out that those are available. Clicking on Open, of course, I already have the application installed on my phone. I've been using it for a good period of time now. One of the first things that it comes up with is the status screen. So right now mine says connected, but for example, if I didn't have Bluetooth tethering settings set up, it would actually still connect, but instead of it saying connected here, it would say check tethering settings. That's a clue that means that you have to turn on Bluetooth tethering to enable personalized radio and other features on the end device. On the screen here, it'll tell you your battery life. Right now, mine says it's at 91%. I can also say, listen up, Nigel. Check battery status.
Battery level is 91%.
So Anna just told me the exact same thing that the screen says. I don't have to look at the screen. I can actually just check on the device itself to get that information. Right now it's got 7.4 gigabytes of storage space available. 8 gigabytes of storage is a lot for me because I tend to stream my music. Right now it's set to streaming mode for music source. You can actually store up to a reasonable amount of music using MP3s right on the device itself, so you don't feel like taking your phone out with you. You can store music on the device itself. The device also stores any photos and video taken from the device on the device internally. It does not allow you to transfer those to the phone. Right now it says GPS is searching. Right now that just switched over as I said that, so now it's receiving. I am indoors, so GPS is a little bit less reliable indoors than it would be outside. And then, of course, you've got the camera and activity log features right here on the status screen as well. If the camera was taking pictures or recording video, it would say that on the screen. Activity log only monitors segments of cycling and running. It's tied to Strava, and so I tend to not run or cycle. I tend to really just walk in my daily habits. So I don't really use the activity log. I didn't turn off the segment though in case I were to do any of that. So next I'm going to walk through a little bit of the different segments that are available on the end device. Now personalized radio is a feature that I really love. One of the things that happens is Nigel and Anna as co-hosts, and I just said one of those names, so that's why it's dinging right now. Stop.
Fail to recognize. Try one more time.
Stop. So
Not playing.
the personalized radio features tend to turn on throughout the day to give you updates, which are really helpful, except in situations where, in my case, I'm on a conference call or in an important conference or meeting at work, and suddenly they get to be a little bit too vocal. So I do sometimes hit this button right here, which turns off personalized radio. So all of these segments are canceled until I hit that button again and turn personalized radio back on. That tends to happen in the working hours, just because I kind of need to not be disturbed by reading my social feed or giving me news or weather updates. Some of the segments that are available are really awesome. Sony, in a recent update to the software, gave us a couple of new segments. There's an NBA segment, which actually lets you select whatever NBA team. My home team is the Golden State Warriors, but you can choose whichever team you follow, and it'll give you updates on that particular NBA team. Little Boost does not have any type of voice command, but what I've noticed is usually I'll get Little Boost messages in the morning. If it senses that I'm still in the office, or that I've been seated in my seat at the office for a long period of time, it'll give me a little boost of encouragement there. And also when I get home from work, it gives me an unwind message usually at the end of the day, which is pretty cool. I actually really value those little boost messages. They are pretty helpful tips too. The one I got today actually was something about using white noise to help you to sleep at night. So they're helpful little tips as well as kind of motivational boosts throughout the day. And then greetings. Greetings is really helpful for new concept end users because it really describes when you power on the device how the interactions work. So it gives you those audio cues for how the interactions work. But otherwise, greetings doesn't really help much for a normal everyday user of the device. But you do get a cheerful greeting from the two hosts at that time. Weather, of course, you heard a little bit of earlier. It's very clear for me. It's coming shooting up from the speakers inside the end device right to my ears, so it's actually loud and very crisp and clear. I'm not sure that what you hear from the device is as clear as what I can hear, but I did turn it up as loud as I could so that hopefully some of that will get picked up by the computer microphone. Restaurants gives you some information about restaurants that are very close to where you are. Sometimes those restaurants aren't the restaurant that you're looking for, though. There are ways to tailor that information, but it's really just powered by Yelp. So unless you really want to go to a good 4-star Yelp rated restaurant that might take a long time, it's hard to really customize what you're hearing from that restaurant feed. And that's one of the reasons why I have that unchecked right now in my settings. You can select and deselect any of these settings at any time. News features gives you, unfortunately right now, a lot of news that's about politics and things that are in the moment today. But it's pulling that information directly from San Francisco local news feeds. So it is relevant and vital information to folks in the Bay Area, which is awesome because that's where this particular pilot program is happening. Events tells you information about events in the area. Calendar syncs to your calendar. I don't actually have a calendar synced up, but it does give you your calendar reminders and give you information about the important events going on in your day throughout the day. Mail tells you if you've received email. Social feeds will pull in information from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and things of that nature. I use it with Twitter currently, and it's very helpful to keep up with mentions and direct messages as well as the last few tweets of my feed. Now, one of the things that's great is it does not pull constantly from each of these different segments. So the news segment isn't going to pull in new news stories every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. It's a gradual pace throughout the day. So it feels like you are listening to your own kind of personal radio segments. I liken it to listening to the Eric podcast basically throughout the day, because it's programming information based on your interests and based on the selections that you make here and your social feeds. So it is pretty cool to have some friendly robot hosts give you information throughout the day using the end device. The activity log, like I said, is powered by Strava, uses cycling and running data to give you information about different segments of a run or a cycle. I don't use that very frequently, but again, I do have it turned on in case I were to use it. SMS just tells you if you've received an SMS notification on your phone, and of course smartphone notifications tells you of any type of smartphone activity. One of the things that I think is really awesome is, let's say you heard part of a news story and you had to pause it for some reason, or I'm at work and I have a conference call and I can't really hear something. You can click on timeline and you can see information from the last 24 hours. So if I want to go back to that weather report from 10/19, I can do so. If I want to go back to my social feeds and hear that segment that came through, or the news feeds or things of that nature, I can scroll through and see the last 24 hours. I also have the ability to bookmark those. So right now I can bookmark that, and it's in my bookmarks until I remove it from bookmarks. So if it gives you a restaurant recommendation and you're not ready to go to that restaurant, or an event that you are thinking about but you're not ready to dedicate and buy a ticket to, or something of that nature, or RSVP, you can bookmark that and go back to it as a reference at a later time frame. The other thing that's really great in the application itself on the smartphone is there are multiple settings here. So if you click on settings, you can change the applications for camera resolution, photo resolution for photos, turn on live snap, which is a cool feature when you're running or cycling, because it will take a series of pictures based on interval settings that you set yourself. Also activity, shooting interval, again based on that live snap, and you can also do steady shot or geotagging for photos and video. The camera itself works really well, and it kind of pivots based on your head and neck position. The one thing that I have a challenge with the camera is I tend to wear collared shirts. This one's actually a mock turtleneck, but usually I wear a collared shirt and the collar gets in the way of the camera sensor itself. So that can be a problem from time to time personally for myself. So I tend to actually lift up the device when I'm taking a picture or a video, so it lifts it away from my neck a bit, but then that takes me away, of course, from the world just a little bit to pick this up. I'm not staring at a screen though, which is fantastic. It's great to take quick videos or quick photos in settings where I don't have to whip out my phone to do that or fiddle with an actual camera. So it takes pretty decent quality photos and video as well. Now outside of camera, there's notifications within the device itself. It can vibrate, or you can turn off that vibration sensor. The speed that things are read out, you can have it be very slow, normal, fast, or very fast. And the volume that things are read through the personalized radio settings as well. I've never changed it from 7 out of 15. But again, you can control the volume right underneath the headset itself. There's a plus and minus button that you can actually feel the plus. It's raised. So if you're moving or running or just commuting or something of that nature, you can just feel there to adjust the volume. You can listen to a sample. I'm going to do that right now so you can hear it.
This is an example of speech sentences in English.
Fantastic. Your headphones, the end device comes with really awesome open-ear headphones. These open-ear headphones have legitimately changed how my work habits work and my listening habits for music work, because I can actually hear everything around me as well as clearly hear the audio that I'm trying to listen to on my phone using these headphones. They plug in on the bottom through a standard micro USB plug. and I'm just going to demonstrate putting them together right here. And then it's just a standard micro USB plug. And then you do get a contextual vibration, so you know that you've plugged it in correctly. And there's a tone as well, but you couldn't hear it because I just plugged it in. And then it just fits right in your ear, but you'll notice that your ear cavity here, that ear hole is still there and exposed, so you're not covering your ear with the headphone. And it makes a huge difference when you're listening to music or any other type of audio, listening to the news or personalized radio programs as well. The end device with these headphones is fantastic. I can be extremely productive and not take myself away from that productivity and still listen to music and still kind of be in my own zone thanks to these really awesome open ear headphones. So it's a groundbreaking product, and I hope that Sony incorporates these headphones, if nothing else, into future products as well that are available on the marketplace. Going back to the features again, currently I have open ear headphones selected. I can actually select other headphones as well. They would have to connect by micro USB to be usable with the device, but that is definitely a possibility. I myself would never change away from those open ear headphones though. Auto volume enhancement is a feature that can be both great and horrible. If you're talking, for example, and there's an end segment playing, the volume raises because it senses that noise from your speech. But it's also really good if you're on a train or somewhere where there's a lot of background noise, because it cuts out that background noise and senses it and raises the volume. Very similar to a lot of vehicle manufacturers put that so that it cuts down on engine noise and you hear your radio volume in the car increase slightly for that reason. I've never turned it off, but there have been times I've had to stop segments just because I'm having a conversation with someone at the same time, and it does become a little bit distracting. The custom button is awesome right on the end device right here. You can't probably see it, so I will put it up to the camera. Right here is a device button, and that button itself, instead of saying the wake up phrase, you can push the button and actually speak your voice command, but you can also change what that button does. So right now I have it set to change music source, so it would change from streaming music to music directly stored on the device. You can also play or pause the music using this button, shoot a photo just by pressing this button. It'll open the camera on the other side, or shoot a video the same way using that custom button selection. So the custom button is something that is very practical and very useful. Turning on and off the wake up phrase, if I hit this button right here and I say listen up Nigel, nothing happens. But if I hit this button again and I say listen up Nigel, tell me the news.
News update.
Listen up Nigel. Stop.
Stop segment.
So that's how that works. Your personalized radio account is tailored to you, so mine is currently set up and linked to my own account. My social media is connected. A couple of other features are connected as well. You're not obligated to use personalized radio, but I wouldn't want to change away from that feature.
Fail to recognize. Try one more time.
Stop. Now it's going to say nothing's playing.
Not playing.
So other features on the settings menu are, if there's a software update, it will check for updates. Right now I'm using the most current software, but soon there will be an update, so it's important to know that you can just look for a software update right here on the application. Some information about the software and license information I'm not going to get into. You can check that for yourself, and then of course the app information, which will tell you the version number, which is going to be a key when there's app updates as well, so that you know that you're on the current version. And then also here you can change your music source from streaming mode to device mode right here. You can also go through the tutorial, which is the setup, and kind of goes through some of the key features of the device. I'm not going to do that right now either. There's an initial setup that basically helps you sync the Bluetooth settings and set up the device to work with your phone, and also set up personalized radio, and then a help guide, which really just pulls up their website, and you'll see it in a second. But this help guide actually helps a ton, because even features that aren't as documented and I haven't demonstrated here are available, and contact information for contacting the end program is here as well. So this is a very useful help guide page, and I certainly encourage, whether you're using it through the application or just going out to the Future Lab website, that you do check out the help guide if you're having any problems. That's kind of a walkthrough of the application itself. I'm going to go ahead and listen to some jams here. Let's see, let's turn on some Pandora.
Time for the weather forecast.
Wow, instead, they're going to give me the weather. That's fine too.
It looks like rain around here within an hour.
That's it for the weather.
So it's going to rain in about an hour. But that was a quick walkthrough of the Concept N device by Sony Future Lab program. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back with more content in the future. I'm excited because Sony's going to be unveiling some really cool new segments in the future, and I'm going to explore some of those right here on my YouTube channel, and I'll be sharing them with end users through the Concept N Facebook and other platforms. So if you have any feedback, if there's any other questions or tips that you'd like to hear from me, please let me know. Feel free to comment on YouTube. Feel free to send me a message on the private Facebook community as well. And I will see you at future Concept N events. And if you're not in the Bay Area, I will continue to share information about the Concept N prototype and all of the awesome things I've been able to do with it. See you next time.